It's time for a trip to the Keweenaw for lake trout. Smoked, grilled, and gourmet.
We're going to do it on the stovetop smoker that I have right here.
Today we're going to be cooking a candied walnut crusted lake trout caught fresh from Lake Superior.
You drink a 12-ouncer. When you're done with that, the fish will be done.
9 million acres of forest, 1,700 miles of continuous shoreline, 4,300 lakes, 12,000 miles of streams, more than 300 waterfalls, 15 counties, 2 time zones, and 1 area code. Welcome to the Upper Peninsula. Welcome to 906 Outdoors.
There are about as many ways to cook fish as there are to catch them. Grilled, baked, broiled, pan-fried, deep-fried, you name it, it's been done. We took a trip to the Keweenaw to check out some recipes and methods that you may not have thought about. Of course, the first step in any good fish recipe is catch some fish.
So we're over in Loch LaBelle now. We're out of Loch LaBelle, we're in Beatty Gray. We tried Copper Harbor for a few hours and nothing's going on there. So a couple of my buddies I talked to said they're getting some fish over here in this area. And we just set up, we're running about 147 foot of water right now, and we're fishing close to the bottom and about 10 foot up. So we're gonna give it a try. I'm gonna set up a couple dipsies too, but the fish that were caught were all down close to the bottom. And we're just gonna run back and forth on this bank here and see what happens. As we're talking there just a second ago, he just hooked up. Daddy's gonna reel it in and I'll get it in the net for her. There it is. Now see a little color back there, Patty. There's dinner now coming in. There we go. Well, Patty's eating tonight anyways. We need 2 more and we'll have our fish dinner. That's a nice one for the pan. These are the ones I sooner keep anyways to eat. Go, Patty. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a slider on the main line on the mono. I've got a bead right here and just 2 foot of 15-pound mono, dual lock snap on the lure on the spoon, and then I've got this rigged up just with a barrel swivel and a snap. But this snaps on your mono, but when you do get a fish on, it'll slide down to this right here, and that bead keeps it from banging against the spoon. And I've gotten doubles on both of these before, and the reason I keep this short is just to manage it easier. If you get double on, you can get both fish in the net at the same time. Might have been one of those marks I said. Could have grabbed it. Little guy, that's why you didn't even know he's on. He's small fish. Nice one, Patty. I guess Brian will be able to eat tonight too. You want to hold your fish?
Not really.
This one, yeah. There's a fish on there too.
A lot of line, man.
Yeah. There's a little bigger one. That'd be a nice eater too. Well, we got our limit of 3 fish. That's what we need for a cookout.
.906 Outdoors is brought to you by Race Driven.
Get in touch with your adventurous side and find your drive with Race Driven. As an online retailer, dealership, and manufacturer, we can provide power sport enthusiasts with virtually any part or accessories for ATV, UTV, and motorcycles. Customer driven, quality driven, race driven.
It's time to cook. We'll take a look at 3 different ways to prepare a tasty plate of fresh-caught Keweenaw cuisine. Dave will be in the kitchen applying his expertise to create a culinary work of art.
Today we're going to be cooking a candied walnut crusted lake trout caught fresh from Lake Superior. We're going to make a caper beurre blanc, some potatoes and vegetables.
And Larry will be in the yard cooking in a slightly more Yooper fashion.
It's a maple cure, and we're going to do it on the stovetop smoker that I have right here. Other 2 fillets with the paper bag, and I need to drench them in olive oil and just salt and pepper, and I'm going to do a little bit of Creole seasoning on them and put them on the grill. Get her fired up. Bring these into Dave, and he's going to do his. He's got some kind of recipe. He's gonna make up on it. It's something special. We'll have to see what it is.
So let's get started. First of all, we have our fish here that's already been cleaned for us. It's been nice and pin boned. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna spray our pan just for easy release for later. And I've already made up a breading mixture of candied walnuts, which have been dredged in brown sugar, some Cajun seasoning, and baked. And then I added a little bit of brown sugar and breadcrumbs, and you could add whatever herbs and spices you want. So we're gonna crust this lightly. Make sure you get some nuts on each piece. You want to try not to get them on the pan, otherwise they will burn. And now right before we put it in the oven, we're going to drizzle it with a little clarified butter just to keep it moist, and it'll help everything brown and caramelize the right way. So we're going to go in the oven at about 400 degrees for 8 to 10 minutes.
But you just want to drench this up with the olive oil. Actually, Dave Rose, he's an outdoor writer friend of mine from downstate, and he tried it the first time with walleye fillets, and he says you wouldn't believe it, but you leave the skin on too on a walleye. And he tried it and he said it's great. I did myself too. And but salmon or lake trout, they work great. But you just want to get this soaked right through here. That looks good there. Patty and I were out and we picked up 3 fish. That's all we're shooting for. That's all we needed for today, so we quit at 3. Just lay these on olive oil, like so. The olive oil keeps that paper from burning because olive oil takes a hotter temperature before it burns, so a little bit of salt on there. And a little pepper. And I'm going to do a little Creole too on this Creole seasoning. It'll be an indirect heat. And this grill, I like about this one, I can get 2 more fillets on each side too. And now, close the lid. I'm going to open the dampers up just a little bit more. You drink a 12-ouncer. When you're done with that, the fish will be done. We did catch these fish in Keweenaw County, so we are drinking Keweenaw beer. It's a good combination. Perfect timing.
You need a couple saute pans. I diced and blanched off a couple red skin potatoes, and we're also going to start our babronk. We're going to steam some more vegetables. So while we're doing this, we're going to start to brown our potatoes. Small amount of clarified butter. We're going to go ahead and add these. Again, we're going to layer the seasonings. And then to start our beurre blanc, a hot pan, some oil. We have the capers, shallot, and garlic. We're going to start by sauteing the shallot and garlic. If you don't hear the sizzle, it means you're not sauteing it, you're steaming it. And always you want to layer your sauces. You need to salt and pepper each step, so we're going to just go ahead lightly. Be careful with the salt because the capers are a little acidic and salty. Once your garlic and shallot starts to caramelize, we're going to deglaze it with some white wine. Whatever you drink is fine. You want to do this away from the flame because it is going to flame up. Not always, but now we're going to reduce this by about 2/3. Our potatoes a little turn here. Once this reduces to about 1/3, we're going to go ahead and add some heavy cream. And now we're going to let that reduce as well. We got our potatoes going, they're starting to brown. We are going to just season these with some diced scallions at the end. So we'll just let them go until they get crispy on the outside, soft in the middle. We're just going to take a quick look at our fish. See, it's starting, everything's starting to caramelize and come together. Get a couple minutes still.
I'm going to drop in a little piece of maple hardwood in the center of the charcoal. It'll give us a little smoke flavor too. Well, we got about maybe 4 swigs left here, and it's getting close.
906 Outdoors is brought to you by Cooking Wild Seasonings. Make it fresh, make it yours. It's time to make you hungry. Brought to you by Cooking Wild Seasonings. Camping and cooking go hand in hand. How about some campfire bread and grouse for dinner? Nothing fancy about this meal, just tasty. Campfire bread is basically flour, baking powder, oil, and water. You can use butter instead of oil, add some salt or sugar, add some yeast if you like, and let it rise for an hour. You can find all sorts of recipes online. You can cook it in a Dutch oven, a cast iron pan, or wrap the dough around a stick and cook it over a fire. Now some rough grouse breasts. I like to pound it out a bit to keep the thickness even. Start out with some mushrooms. From there it's pretty straightforward. Beer, breading, fry it up. Save all that bottom of the pan goodness. Capers. I don't know what they do, but I found them in the fridge, so I took them. Some mozzarella, some Parmesan, and there you have it, campfire dinner. Time for a 906 Outdoors Cooking Wild Seasonings tip. Whether you're cooking sausage in the oven or in the smoker, start out at 100 degrees or the lowest temperature your oven will go for the first hour or so. Case hardening can prevent efficient heat transfer to the center of the sausage, leaving you with an overdone exterior and an undercooked interior. If you're using a smoker, you may be sealing out that delicious smoky flavor. For more information or to order your Cooking Wild seasonings today, visit our website at cookingwildseasonings.com. 906 Outdoors is brought to you in part by NutriFeed, nutritional feed solutions for deer and horses.
It's not too bad. I another couple swigs. Fresh veggies out of my garden. Fish is done. Looking good. See, that's all purpose there. We use a piece of aluminum foil to drench the paper, and after it's done, put the fish on, saving the earth. No waste.
So these look just about ready. We're going to go ahead and toss some green onions in there. And we can set these off to the side. So now in another pan, again with a small amount of clarified butter. You could use oil if you want. We're going to drain our vegetables. Get that pan heated. We can see our cream starting to reduce here. So now we're going to add the juice of about a half of a lemon. Make sure you don't get the seeds in it, so you can cup your hand over it. This is just going to add a little freshness and a little acid. And now we can go ahead and add the capers. And now we got our pan a little warm here. Go ahead, add our vegetables. Again, we'll season. Give them a nice quick toss. And today we got some fresh chopped basil we're going to add to our vegetables. And you always want to do that at the end. Overcooking the basil will only make it bitter. And we'll check our sauce here. Now the next thing we're going to do is mount it with some butter to finish it. It'll give it a nice shine, and it'll add another dimension to the flavor. So you can go ahead and take it off the heat. You just want to keep stirring until the butter's been fully incorporated. And we're just going to check for acid and salt. A little more butter. And then when your sauce is complete, you want to remove it from the heat so it doesn't break. Now we're going to start plating, and our fish should be ready.
These been marinating. It's maple cure, and we're going to do it on the stovetop smoker that I have right here. Let's put a little aluminum liner on this pan. It just makes it easier cleaning. These are maple wood chips, and we'll just put a little bit. Don't need much, just a little bit in there, and we'll do it. The pan in. And what I'll do is I'll let that glaze for a little bit too, let that dry on top. In fact, I'm gonna pat them just a little bit here. Leave the skin on, you want the skin left on. And this works really good for walleye too. You wouldn't think it would, but it really does. Same way you can maple cure them the same way as this here. Well, I usually at least 4 hours on the maple cure. I've done it overnight too, but at least 4 hours on it. We'll get it on the charcoal, over the top of the charcoal, and cover put on. And just set it right up on here. And usually you crack open a 12-ounce beer and drink that down, and when you're finished with the beer, the fish is done.
Today's show is brought to you in part by Rapid River Knife Works.
Rapid River Knife Works is the largest custom knife factory showroom in Michigan. Hunting knives, pocket knives, and kitchen knives. Watch your custom knife being made and engraved. Free laser engraving with your personal message or company logo. Lifetime warranty on every knife and free sharpening. Bring the family and visit Rapid River Knife Works today.
While in the Keweenaw, we had a chance to spend some time at one of my favorite places in the UP.
Keweenaw Mountain Lodge opens Mother's Day weekend, and our last day is the third week of October. We have our bar lounge area, which has a fireplace in it. The dining room also has a fireplace. So on the cooler fall nights, a lot of people like to come up from the cabins and sit down and have a drink at the bar lounge and enjoy the fire. The food is fantastic. We serve lunch and dinner every day of the week. We have a Sunday brunch now this year. Cabins, we have 1, 2, and 3 bedroom cabins. All of the cabins have fireplaces. There's no cooking facilities, but they're rustic and they're comfortable. We have motel units also right next to the lodge. We have a 9-hole golf course. It's in great shape. Lots of comments this year. You can do 18, but a lot of guys just like to do 9. It's a little rough, hilly, but everybody loves it. We have our events. Lots of people like to come up and have conferences in the back conference area, weddings. It's a very nice wedding destination. Brides and grooms they love the atmosphere, they love the area, and it makes for a good wedding spot.
Well, let's check our smoked fish here. We was on for about a little over 20 minutes. That looks like it's done. We'll pull it off. That looks good.
Now we're going to start plating and our fish should be ready. Potatoes here, vegetables. We remove our fish from the oven. So one way you can check to see if it's done is if it'll break when you put your spatula underneath it. And see how it starts to flake? We're done. We're good. Skin on or off, personal preference. And we'll finish it with our sauce here. Add a nice little garnish. And there you have our candied walnut crusted trout with potatoes and fresh vegetables.
Beautiful. Thank you.
I mean, I was right in the middle of a round of golf, and this was so much more appealing. What, you want me to take a little piece off?
You take a little piece.
Is that the idea? How cool is this? This one, they all look really good. Which recipes are what here? This is
smoke.
Grilled smoke.
Take it from the back.
Long time.
No, 25 minutes.
25 minutes.
That's how it's cooked.
Okay. That's awesome. That's delicious. They're all good, I'm guessing.
Okay, Harvey, who's the winner?
Huh?
Who's the winner?
Oh man, now I've got to pick a winner. A winner, there are 3 separate categories. I think they're all winners in each of their own categories. I mean, there's just no way to compare because they're all so good. I mean, look at if I'm having beer and crackers, then that's definitely the winner. If I'm fine dining, that's awfully darn good. And I love to make that at home. That's easy, yeah?
All right.
That's excellent. Is there a prize being awarded for a winner? Can I talk to the cook before we work a deal out?
Join 906 Outdoors on Facebook to see where we've been and where we're going, and get a glimpse of what's happening around the UP. And stop in at 906outdoors.com, where you can watch any of our past shows and see what's coming up next. Thanks for sticking around, and we'll see you next week right here on 906 Outdoors.